Thanks for tuning in to Discover Stories on Reimagine Radio. Before we get started, here's a word from our sponsor.
Do you wish you had a voice in making some of the world's most popular websites more accessible? Fable is recruiting a community of paid assistive technology users who work from home to test websites and provide feedback on how they can be improved. We're currently recruiting testers who use Dragon, voice control, eye tracking, switch controls, and head mice. No resume, no cover letter, and no experience with user testing is required. Learn more and apply at www.makeitfable.com/community.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in to the Artist Feature podcast on Reimagine Radio. I'm Bryden Vino, Program Coordinator with the Vancouver Adapted Music Society, and joining me today is Noah Stulte, Assistant Coordinator here at VAMS, and Turner Churchill, the featured artist for today's episode. Turner has now released 2 EPs under the name CRITTR, the first one called Glyph, and the most recent one, Nite Shift, which we'll be talking about today. Both can be found on all streaming platforms. Be sure to check it out. Without further ado, though, let's get started. Hey guys, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Hello.
Hey Noah, hey Turner. So we're just going to be talking about Nite Shift, the most recent EP that you were working on here at VAMS.
Yep.
5-song EP, and I think kind of the format for today is we'll have a listen to each track, and in between we'll talk about the one we just listened to and kind of any comments, experiences that we had making it, or the instrumentation, whatever we want to talk about the song. So
yeah, sweet, sounds good.
So also, if you haven't checked it out, Turner was on the Discover Stories podcast recently, which can be found on this channel too. Just check out the Discover Stories playlist, and that'll be later in I think it's like episode 56 or
In the 50s.
around there, something like that.
It was a good time though. Check it out. It's a 2-parter, so
It is a 2-parter, yeah.
it was
Got a
long.
lot to say, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get started. So the first song off of the EP Nite Shift is called Nite Shift.
a dope song though.
Yeah, so that was Nite Shift, the first track off of the EP.
Title track.
Title track too, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a few things we could chat about with this.
Yeah, I took a few notes too.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I wanted to say, just like not even specifically about this song, but just the EP in general, is the approach that was taken versus Glyph, the first EP.
Yeah.
I think this new one, you came in with more like foundational ideas for the song versus Glyph. We kind of like crafted it from scratch in the studio. So this one has a lot more of your stamp on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I had like a certain vision more so. Well, like I would like make a song like early in the week because our sessions are on Thursdays. So like we'd average like a song like every couple weeks, I guess.
Yeah,
but then we would go back and like polish them up and stuff. But yeah, so like most of the beats, because I have gear at home, so the beats and the bass lines and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, usually it's like the drum pattern, the bass, and like one synth line or something.
Yeah.
That we have. It makes our job quite easy.
Yeah,
Like the hard part's done. Actually, like coming up with something from nothing, we get to have the fun and kind of add on and have those little other production ideas.
Yeah, there's almost always like a chord progression already when you come in. It's like a chord progression and drums.
Yeah.
And then like that's pretty foundational.
It's usually an E and an A or a B.
The go-tos. And some absolutely banging bass though. Like
Yeah,
that
that's
one
true.
right there, the way the
that-
bass is like pulsing. Like
Yeah.
that the
like halfway
MS-20?
through.
yeah.
Like initially it is the MS-20, but I think Bryden did some like MIDI for the pulsing bass.
Oh, yeah.
That comes in later.
Oh, that like big sub drop.
I think so.
There's auto pan on that to make it go.
Yeah, that is what it is. Yeah.
Unless he used the audio from the MS-20 and just like filtered it and like affected it or something.
I think
that
that might have been what I did.
it's probably
Either way, though.
it's probably like a combination of both kind of thing.
Yeah. The coolest part about that whole track to me is that I'm going to butcher doing it with my mouth right now, but it's the...
Well, so that's a sample.
Awesome.
So that's a sample of Nangs by Tame Impala
Oh, yeah.
that we just sped up. So like, and like the Tame Impala song is like whoop, 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 whoop. But we just like mapped it to like 130 or whatever the tempo was here.
Did it way faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it hits the octave jump at the
Yeah,
end,
it's so
that's
cool.
very cool. Yeah,
Like it's basically like an LFO, like just like rapidly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find there's like a lot of moving pieces in that song, but they like really work together well. Like even the way that like the synth pads change the way they are during it. Like in the beginning, they're very like washy, and then they start going.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Like kind of like
Yeah.
It's more swells. Like it's
Yeah.
reverse when it hits like the first verse, as opposed to the intro is like it's more straight. Like it's not reversed.
Yeah. It's very cool though. It's like the same instruments in like 3 different ways of playing those sounds.
Yeah,
kind of throughout
I think
the track.
that was from my Electron Digitact. It was like that. It was like a pad on there because it has drums as well as synths.
Cool.
So like the main beats, I think I got that from a song by Floating Points. Just like the pattern of like 2 snares and then 1 snare, like
Oh yeah, the clap sound is also really good in that song.
yeah, it's a clap. It's
very, like,
Clap
Flammy.
is so
Yeah.
nice. It's
Yeah.
like really loose, like
Yeah, because there's a snare.
impression of it, yeah.
There's a snare and a clap at the same time.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's cool.
So something I had written down about this song, and actually like pretty common about every song that we've worked on, but this one in particular is like, if you look at the session, obviously there's a bunch of different tracks, and each section of this song, it's technically the same thing always, but it's the combination of what's going on and taking things out or putting things back in, and certain combinations have
Bumping
like
the octave.
totally different dynamics, totally different feel to
Yeah.
it. Like that drop, kind of halfway through when things like really cut out, and then it's just like the kick, the hat on that offbeat, and the bass and the top synth. It's like 4 things, but it like totally just kind of sucks in.
Yeah.
And like it gets you going, man.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to get up and dance at that part.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
awesome.
So sick.
And then things got built back in, right?
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that I'm like seeing things more like you now, which is like more so like just taking stuff out and seeing how it sounds, like adding stuff in a section and seeing how it sounds.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, being
because
like,
at a certain point you're like, well, I have so many parts to this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
It's
I
all
add more, it's
combinations.
just gonna get messy. But I had to start taking things out to make it interesting.
being
Yeah.
reductive can be really beneficial. I know it's so cliche, but like silence is the loudest thing in music, right?
Yeah.
Like when you cut something out, it's like so
Yeah.
much anticipation, right?
We probably
Also,
shouldn't spend
yeah.
too
much time
longer on this,
talking
but
about
I
it?
do
I
want
know.
to say, I do remember the toms in this song, the tom
Yes.
fill, doo doo doo. We used a synthesizer to make that like sound from scratch, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
It's like we're just like, oh, we need toms, and we just grabbed like a synth.
And it's not just any synth; it's like a small Yamaha,
Yeah, it's true.
like
It's
very
like-
Yeah.
portable little synthesizer.
It's a
that you
workhorse.
can-
It's like $400. You
Yeah.
can pretty much play anything on it. Like
It's sounded
it's,
awesome.
The Yamaha CS series.
Cool though, yeah. All right, let's move on to song 2 here. Just in the sake of time, I know we could probably talk ad nauseum about this one song, but yeah, we're gonna hop into track 2 now. This is Slow Fire.
Everybody's not down with this connection. Some seem to be blinded by unseen force.
Yeah, that last chord on, yeah, it's so cool. A
Yeah.
little different vibe than the first one. Still dancey,
Yeah, definitely.
though.
Like the first song is the most high energy song on the EP. So,
Yeah,
but this is like kind of the opposite, which is like definitely sets the vibe. But like,
it's a little darker for sure.
yeah,
I feel like the best word to describe the feeling is intrigue.
Yeah, that's so
oh,
true.
yeah.
It's like a little mystery,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, maybe like some
Scooby Doo kind of thing.
yeah, like you're driving your car.
Okay, I was thinking that too.
You're
like
driving the mystery machine,
Yeah.
and it's like super foggy everywhere.
Yeah. Oh man, I was
Driving by
gonna-
like a lake where maybe there was a murder.
yeah.
That you're
There's a monster
investigating
covered in
with
seaweed.
your
or something.
talking dog.
Yeah. Okay, but back to the actual song though. Yeah. Again, another thing that's I think a commonality in all of your songs is there's like this cool balance of three things. There's like some live kind of element, right? Like so in this one it's the piano,
Yeah,
which we actually
exactly.
recorded you playing the upright that we have in the back of the studio.
Yeah,
It's such a good sound.
It sounds so
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I love it. But
yeah, I think that made the song because it was all samples and machines. So,
it's true.
Yeah,
But I mean, the sample was keys, like it was piano.
yeah,
So it was a cool way to like justify that sample.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like bringing in other piano.
The glockenspiel sample worked really well too.
That's true.
You wouldn't be able to tell that this
Yeah.
sample. It's
So there's these live elements,
Yeah, bro.
and then there's the synth elements, which are
yeah,
like that
that
epic
crazy
chord at the end.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
But the main thing that I definitely notice a lot is like these very like metallic kind of industrial sounds.
yeah. Because there's like two different hi hats and a ride.
Yeah.
So and it's like all panned differently. So it's like really like when they all hit, it's like kind of like cool, like the
Like the hi-hat that comes in first, it's the one that's panned to the right.
yeah.
It's like I shouldn't even call it a hi-hat. It's like
yeah,
it sounds like a noise that
kind of sizzly.
yeah, it's almost like when you have your phone too close to your speakers and you get a text and you get that weird buzzing sound in the speakers.
yeah.
It's kind of like that. I know that's a very like a little deep cut for some people, but
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
but yeah, that was kind of the main thing I noticed right away with that one.
Yeah,
The snare is like, bah, bah. Like it's
That's true,
it's
too.
crazy.
Yeah.
very
Like, it's-
lo-fi.
Yeah, it sounds or industrial too.
Yeah,
It almost sounds like machinery. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't sound
Because
like,
this song was actually slow, and then we sped up the whole song, so
Oh yeah,
that kind of made like the kicks like sound like a rolling kicks with the bass line.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, there are the rolling ones. It's like
Yeah.
like machine gun fire almost.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say mystery machinery.
One other thing about the piano is kind of like it's live, but it's also like very human because it's a little bit like
It's a little slow.
yeah, it's a
or
little
something.
slower
Yeah.
sometimes. It's like a little bit messy, and it just like offsets all this like electronic
Yeah.
elements like
Yeah.
so well.
It
like,
rushes and drags.
Yeah, yeah,
Like in
yes.
different
It's like-
spots.
Like the do, that's like slow, I think, or something.
Yeah.
With a couple different like fills that are kind of like sloppy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When
It
it's
works.
cool.
It works really
Yeah.
well. Like
When it's played sloppy, then your ear catches that over top of the like perfect on
Machine.
grid electronic
Yeah.
stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. It's very cool.
But yeah, that one's really awesome as well.
Did we talk
definitely had a
about
lot
the
of fun
bird
making
sample in the beginning yet?
Yeah, the bird sample at the beginning, that's part of the sample with the piano.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like that's all
it's-
one sample.
It's
cut
so
up.
vibey. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the OP1. So
cool.
I think it's another kind of thing that you do a lot too is the kind of like subverting the expectation of the song. Like when that song starts, you're like, okay, that's like sampled piano with bird sound, and
yeah.
you think it's going to go to a happier place, and then
That chord
It-
hits.
Yeah.
doesn't quite. at all.
Yeah.
So that concludes part 1 of our analysis of Nite Shift here with CRITTR, also known as Turner Churchill. We're going to continue this podcast next week in part 2 with the last 3 songs on the EP. Thanks for tuning in.